All right, Recon Athlete, episode 125. Chris Sanchez, no Paul Rodriguez, no Zach Lucero. It's just me and you guys. What's going down? Saturday, November 14th. We're going to talk some college football that aren't postponed. You know, the games, I think there's about, 15 or so games that are postponed. Go through the NFL daily lines and, of course, talk a little bit of boxing since nobody else is here, and golf. I hope y'all are ready for some golf. I know I've been watching it. It's exciting. Tiger Woods did make the cut. You know, he's like 4 shots back. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I know the Masters, everybody there is probably really excited that he is in contention, because that means that there's going to be, some, or not some, but a lot more eyes on the television now that Tiger Woods is involved, and not just, just the regular. Well, I mean, I'm a huge golf fan, but besides, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, possibly Bubba Watson, I mean, there's not a whole lot of other golfers that are household names. So, we'll see what happens there. And I know the Masters tournament probably also a little bit happy that, that all these college football games are canceled, because that means that there's going to be a lot more eyes on the Masters tournament here. All right, so college football, like I said, there's going to be, countless amounts of football games that are postponed. And unfortunately, COVID got us pretty bad this week. So, we'll see what happens as far as, going forward. I know on the SEC side, they're talking about December 19th being a makeup game, but that's also the same day as their conference championship. So, we'll see what happens there, because we need to try to make a full season. But I try to be as normal as possible, whatever normal is, for 2020. All right, so college football. Miami Hurricanes supposed to be kicking off at 11 o'clock against Virginia Tech. Let's see. Indiana, Michigan State, Western Carolina, Liberty, Army, and Tulane, Wake Forest, North Carolina, TCU, West Virginia, and Penn State, and Nebraska. And I tell you what, man, I'm just not. I'm really, really disappointed, that all of these college football games are being canceled, postponed, just because I'm a college football fan. But I get it. I understand. I know what they're saying. Everybody's just trying to be safe, trying to stay, stay positive about the situation. Unfortunately, the Longhorns, or fortunately, probably for some fans and for Zach Lucero, because he's not watching the Longhorns right now. They are on the bye this week. They have Kansas next week, so we'll see. How they come back from that big win over West Virginia. All right, so 1 o'clock game, South Alabama, Louisiana, Raging Cajuns, Fresno State, and Utah. We got the UTEP Miners versus UTSA Roadrunners. Notre Dame coming off that big win against Clemson, traveling to Boston College to take on the Boston College Eagles. Notre Dame is 11.5-point favorite. I know they had some COVID issues last week. After that huge win over Clemson, they went ahead and stormed the field. And I know we talked about it on Wednesday with Zach and Paul, talking about how are you going to stop 10,000 kids from storming the field after a huge win over Clemson. Fortunately, I guess there's no issues with COVID. It looked like from the videos that I saw, a lot of the kids did have masks on, but still there was a bunch that didn't. So fortunately, Notre Dame isn't having any COVID issues, so they are going to have their game against Boston College. 11.5-point favorites. The Irish are over the Eagles. Also 2:30 USC and Arizona. Arizona finally getting on the field out there in the Pac-12. Got Colorado and Stanford. Louisville, Virginia, and the Virginia Cavaliers at 2:30 as well. And shout out to our Texas State Bobcats. They're 1-8, but proving throughout the year. They're taking on the Georgia Southern Eagles this afternoon at 2:30. The Georgia Southern is an 11-point favorite in that game. Also 2:30, you got South Florida and Houston. Houston, a 14.5-point favorite. Let's see, the A&M and Tennessee game, of course, was canceled or postponed. Many of these games postponed. I think the one game that I can talk about is Arkansas and Florida. From what I know, they have not postponed this game. Arkansas, a 17-point underdog. Last number that I saw was 17.5. So it looks like, some of the smart money's been going on Arkansas. I know I got a shout out to Wes. He's moving today, so hopefully he can watch a little bit of us or a little bit of me. And he's a huge Arkansas fan. I know he likes the number 17. I do too. I think a lot of the smart money is going on Arkansas to cover 17 points, despite Florida being at home, being 4-1, and all of a sudden, Zach mentioned it on Wednesday. All of a sudden, Kyle Trask is a favorite to be a Heisman Trophy winner. So, but Arkansas 3-3 according to Wes, and I don't know. I'll watch the game too. It should be 4-2. They were robbed against Auburn. So, yeah, Arkansas. If you're a betting man, I'm not, but if you are, that's a pretty good number for the Razorbacks. Yeah, Wisconsin, Michigan, as well. Wisconsin having their COVID issues for a couple of weeks. They still only played one game, had 2 games taken away from them, but they're taking on the Michigan Wolverines on the road tonight as well. So, and we'll see if we can ever get any of these games played. I know Alabama, LSU has been canceled as well. That was a huge game for both these teams. And for me, I thought that I had the theory with Paul that if Alabama and LSU were both in the top 10 or maybe top 5, then this game probably wouldn't be canceled or postponed. It would probably be on TV. I don't know. But that's just me. All right, Recon Athlete, episode 125. Chris Sanchez, no Paul Rodriguez, no Zach Lucetto. Shout out to BJ on my watch party. And shout out to everybody out there checking me out doing this solo this morning. BJ, if you want to call in, you can, bro. I know you called me earlier about some actual real life stuff. And there's something else I needed to mention to you, BJ. So I'll talk to you about it off air. All right. We got week 10 in the NFL. My beloved Dallas Cowboys are off, fortunately for them. I know they have some, lost Trayvon Diggs this week. That's going to be, 4 to 6 weeks. He might be out for the season. We might as well just leave him out. I mean, he's got a great future ahead of you. You don't want to press him. Cowboys did do well. We talked about it on Wednesday. Did do well against the Steelers. But now, the question is going to be all next week is whether or not it's going to be Andy Dalton or Garrett Gilbert, coming up next week. Let's see. Hold on, BJ. Let me try to get you on here, brother. Yeah, no, I got to get you there. Let's see. You there? Oh, I can't hear. Hold on. We got to get you on the roadcaster here, brother. Hold on one second. There you are. Now we can hear you.
Yes. Well, I had so many media requests this morning, but I heard an urgent one for Recon, so I called right away.
No, that's cool, man. Nah, yeah, Zach, he's got a little prior engagement. I guess he told me, said his girlfriend's birthday or something like that. It's like, dude, really? All right, man.
Yeah, I guess he has to do what he has to do.
Yeah. And I haven't heard from Paul. I hope he's okay. So, Paul, just let me know you're all right, bro. So,
Paul's probably life in the struggle right now, man. Living that lockdog life.
I know, bro. I know. So, I'm getting into this week 10, BJ. Houston, Cleveland, going to be the noon o'clock game. I know the Cleveland Browns have got Nick Chubb coming back. I just traded away Kareem Hunt for Ezekiel Elliott. I've got Nick Chubb in I think it's the Recon League. Yeah, I think it's the Recon League that I've got Nick Chubb.
I've tried to trade him. I've tried to get him from you a couple times.
You did?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
bro. Because I mean, honestly, I don't want anything to do with this backfield. You know.
Well, it's always like value, right? And you know, I don't have the answer to that. And you could probably have 3 or 4 different takes, and one of them is going to be correct depending on which one you choose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that Cleveland wants to run the ball. A perfect game for Cleveland is probably 20 carries for Nick Chubb, 10 to 12 carries for Kareem Hunt, and plus, 3, 4, 5 catches for Kareem Hunt. That's what they want to do. So if they're in positive game script, they're going to write it out. Now, I do think that they will ease Chubb back in just a little bit, this game. But going down the stretch, Cleveland is a competitive team. They're going to be in games. They're going to feature both of those running backs. Yeah, I mean, I like them both. I'm not going to sit here and say I think they're both stellars or stars or anything like that. But, I mean, they're both guys you would want on a fantasy team. And for a DFS thing, if you hit on one of those guys, because here's the deal. I think we can both guarantee that for the rest of the season, each of those guys is going to have 1 or 2 games where they blow up.
Right, and
you hit that game, you're doing great.
And you have to figure out which one it's going to be. Is it going to be Nick Chubb or is it going to be Kareem Hunt? But, I mean, I guess especially in this game against the Texans, probably one of the worst rush defenses in the NFL. Plug and play, plug and play. For me, because I've still got Chubb on my IR spot. I need to move him, but I've got this one running back spot. Basically, I know this is such stellar material talking about my personal fantasy football team, but I believe
that's okay. We're giving insight.
Yeah, I got Chase Edmonds. I got Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, and I didn't play Jonathan Taylor, which was pretty good. Which was a good.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. Hey, man, I actually have my rankings in front of me right here. Jonathan Taylor, I hate to say it, he's moved into my 10-team league drop category.
Yeah. I mean, he really has. I mean, it's unfortunate, too. I mean, I had such high hopes for that guy.
Yeah, so did I. But here's the crazy thing. Like, we watched that game the other day. Taylor does not look bad. I mean, he had this one catch where he absolutely Derrick Henry this guy at the end of the run, and that was like his last touch of the game. So, like, I don't understand what you want from him. You invest a second-round draft pick. He has all this hype. Turn on the college tape. The college tape is some of the best in the last 5 to 6 years, hands down, right? It's probably the best college tape for a running back since Saquon Barkley, and that's high praise. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they throw him a little swing pass. He gets momentum. He obliterates the defender in front of him, gets a couple of more yards, and then they just don't give him the ball the rest of the game. And I get it. Nyheim Hines is great, but I just do not understand how they do not manufacture touches for Jonathan Taylor. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and it was, and I didn't know this, and maybe if I had, I don't know, if I had talked to Snoop before, but it was Nyheim Hines' birthday on Thursday.
Yeah, happy birthday. And check this out. It was his 24th birthday, and the Patriots wide receiver, who's now Jacoby Myers, when he blew up the other day, it was his 24th birthday.
Yeah.
So for the rest of the fantasy season for DFS, if it's anybody's birthday, especially if it's their 24th birthday, hired. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's one of Snoop's, like, his favorite narrative plays is birthdays and revenge games. So, like, he always plays those, like, in all formats, in basketball, baseball, football. He always plays birthdays and the revenge game. All right, so back to my personal issue here, BJ. Chase Edmonds against Buffalo.
He's a start.
J.K. Dobbins versus New England, Zach Moss versus Arizona, or Nick Chubb versus Houston. I got one spot.
I'd play Chubb.
Play Chubb.
Yeah,
Chubb. Well, hold on. I've got Ronald Jones here. I mean, should I switch him out with Edmonds?
Is the play. No, if I pick 2 from those, I would. Out of all those you listed, I would definitely have Chubb and Edmonds.
Chubb and Edmonds, really? Over Edmonds over Jones.
I'm looking at my rankings right here.
Right.
I got Nick Chubb at 16, and I got Chase Edmonds at 21. So those are the 2 highest ones for sure. And here's the deal. Even with Drake coming back, go look at Edmonds' games. He's better when Drake's there. And I've been saying this all year when people talk about Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
He is not a premier number one running back. He is a pass catching specialist that, again, Arizona needs to find a way to manufacture him. And they do a pretty good job on swing passes and things like that. But in the NFL, it's just very difficult to be 180, 185 pounds and get the ball and get 20 carries a game.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you're getting ate up, you know. So what you do is you get a couple carries a game, and you get these guys just a la James White, right? A la what you see McKissick doing for the Redskins. You get them the ball in the flat, in space. What you do is you do these really unique things that Arizona is great at, where you come out with the running back in the backfield, and then you motion him out to like kind of like a slot or a set position, and he's one-on-one with a linebacker, do a little choice option route. And yeah, I like Edmonds a lot, man. I think he's a great play this week, and I think that if you play him, I mean, what's his floor? You know, 30, 40 rushing yards and 5 catches for what? I mean, that's a pretty good play, especially with the running back position in the NFL right now, where like there's just nothing. There is nothing.
Yeah,
right now outside of the primetime players, you know.
Right, and outside of just the fact that it's late in the season, so you got a lot of injuries. You got a lot of guys that they're trying to. They're starting to. A lot of the teams are starting to get into that to the point where they want to rest their guys. Especially the ones that are pretty much set to get into the playoffs. So you're going to see a lot of second string guys coming in and giving them a spell. So. Chase Edmonds.
Well, and the game has changed. It is a passing league right now.
Oh yeah, it's been like that too.
Unless you have, the Derrick Henrys, the Zeke Elliott's, the Christian McCaffreys, who you can just turn around and hand the ball to. It is a passing league. I mean, in my opinion, there's about 5 true number one running backs in the NFL, and then after that, everyone's a committee.
Oh yeah,
everyone's a committee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Browns are are a committee as well. They're a 4-point favorite at home against the Houston Texans. Let's see, Washington, Detroit. That's going to be the football team against the Lions. Lions are a 4-point favorite there with a 46.5 over under.
Hey, that is going to be a fun game to watch. I'm telling you, it is.
Yeah.
Bad teams who both find a way to score and make plays. You go look at Washington. They have F1 on the outside. Right? That's what I call him. He's the F1, who is a premier wide receiver. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He can make plays on his own. Fun to watch. They have 2 really good young running backs who make plays. Alex Smith is going to make smart decisions and keep getting the ball into his playmaker's hands. And Detroit's going to do what Detroit's going to do. They're going to look fantastic, make amazing plays. Stafford is going to play out of his mind, and they're probably going to find a way to lose. Because that's kind of what Detroit does.
Who's going to lose? Like somebody's going to lose this game, and this is going to be also an emotional game for a lot of the players too. Because Alex Smith is, this is his first start coming back from that horrific injury back in 2018, I believe it was, and he almost lost his leg to infection while he was trying to get back on track and back on his feet. No pun intended there. He literally just trying to get back on his feet, and so I think I'm in agreement with you here, BJ. I think Washington wins this game, if not only just because of the narrative of trying to win one for Alex Smith as he comes back from that injury.
Yeah, no, I agree too. And here's what Alex Smith is going to do, and what Washington is going to do. They don't want him taking hits, right?
Yeah.
They need him up. They need him upright. So I think they're going to do a lot of quick hit. 1, 2, 3, ball out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ball out, right? And they have the personnel for that. They have 2 running backs who can catch really well, and they got a wide receiver that he can just take 5-step drops and just put it up there, and you only got to get 1 out of 4 of those with F1 on the outside, and you're going to be looking good. And that's going to be their game plan. And also, very quietly, but maybe not as quietly as a few weeks ago, Washington has one of the best defensive lines in the NFL, and also a pretty good defense around it. So I think it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars, Green Bay Packers. Packers are 13.5-point favorite. Isn't that Luton kid starting this one?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So 13.5 points. You think Green Bay's going to cover that? I mean, I almost think Green Bay would.
Man, I mean, do I think they will? I do. I can tell you from someone who does bet regularly, I stay away from 10-point spreads in the NFL.
Yeah, that's true.
If anything less is backdoor covers.
Yeah.
And and then crazy things happen. You know what I mean? But these are professional athletes. It's not like the college game where people go out there and just blow people out by 40 or 50 points. I mean, like the margin of victory in the NFL is minuscule.
Oh yeah.
You know, the difference in winning by 5 and winning by 15 is very, very small. It's one play or two plays, you know? So yeah, I think Green Bay will cover that. I would not bet a dime on it though.
All right. Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants, NFC East matchup. Eagles 4-point favorite against the Giants. I kind of like the Giants here, just because the Eagles have Carson Wentz. I mean, but also the Giants have Daniel Jones, who both these quarterbacks, I don't know, somehow they still have their jobs. BJ, I don't understand.
Well, I think they're both overrated quarterbacks, right? And I think New York is actually starting to turn the page on Daniel Jones. I really do. Now, Wentz, I think he's produced enough in years past where people still think he can develop into it. And to be fair to Wentz, he hasn't had a single game all year long where he's truly had all of his weapons. This is probably the most weapons he's had all year. Goddard's going to be back and healthy. You got Jalen Reagor back. Sanders is back. And so let's see what happens. But, you know, I remember a couple of years back when people were saying, like, oh, Wentz, like, he's this awesome rookie, a second-year player. He's so much better than Dak. And I'm looking at the film, and I'm like, no, he's not. Like, he's just not. Like, he is an NFL quarterback. He is a starting caliber NFL quarterback, which I do not think Daniel Jones is. But he is not an elite top 10, top 15 guy you build your future around. You know, to me, he's a journeyman. Maybe he needs to land in the right spot. You know, he's probably going to be in the league 10 or 15 years, probably the last 6 or 7 of those as a backup. But, I mean, I think the Eagles win. I do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win. And then from a betting standpoint, I'm staying far away from this game.
Yeah. And
both teams try to lose.
Yeah, both teams are, you know. But you're right. I mean, he's even got – Wentz has even got some a couple guys on the line that are coming back. So he's going to get some guys, you know, to come back and block for him. New York Giants side, I'm not sure why do they not like Wayne Gallman so much? I mean, like, he's not that bad of a running back.
Yeah,
you know?
He was good.
I mean, I've been a fan of his, and whenever they give him the ball, I'm like, he's usually making some yards. I don't know what it is. Maybe I don't know if it's his size. I don't know if it's his name. I don't know. Maybe the coach doesn't like him.
And the Giants are just a poor. I mean, they're in some ways the Giants are. Heck, you know what? Let's compare them to the Cowboys. They're a poorly run franchise, and they're a poorly coached team.
Yeah.
And a lot of that goes back to Jason Garrett, where you see some of these play calls and some of the things they do, and you're like, why are you doing that? I mean, last year, I remember the amount of times the Cowboys would have, like, 1st and goal from the 2 and then not hand it to Zeke a single time and throw it. And I'm, like, screaming at the TV, like, you know, find me a middle school coach in the United States of America. What would they do? They would just hand the ball to one of the best running backs in him. And the Giants are doing the same kind of things right now. You got this good running back. Mm-hmm. You have pretty good receivers on the outside.
Yeah.
I mean, Shepard, Slayton, these guys can play.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And they do all this dumb stuff, man. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, signing Devontae Freeman, why?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, both teams are going to try to lose. Let's see who tries to lose harder. I think it's going to be like Daniel Jones is going to, like, lose the game in the 3rd quarter, and then Wentz is going to come in and be like, oh, no, I can throw a worse interception than that. Watch me.
Yeah, I can.
You know, and it's going to be one of those things. Yeah. Trust me. You know what I mean? And then Daniel Jones will break off a run and trip on, like, the turf monster. You know, I mean, like, what's going to happen? You know?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay 6-point favorite. You know, Tom coming off of that terrible loss. Tampa Bay terrible loss to the Saints. Only a 6-point favorite here. They are on the road against Carolina and Teddy Two Gloves. But I just think, you know, anytime Tom's taken a loss like that, or he hasn't really taken a loss like that in his career, but anytime he's lost, he comes back with a vengeance. I would expect the Buccaneers to do the same this week.
Yeah, I agree. I got money on Tampa Bay to cover the spread. I like it. Not my lock of the week, but I like it a whole lot. And I actually have it in a parlay as well for them to cover the spread. Nice.
3 o'clock games, Denver Broncos and the Raiders. Raiders are 3.5-point favorites at home. That's not a whole lot. I guess Vegas is you know, they're not giving their own home team a whole lot of credit, and maybe they like Drew Lock for some reason.
Hey, well, let me tell you why.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Ask me which team in the NFL gives up the most passes over 30 yards.
Which team in the NFL gives you more passes over 30 yards?
It's the Raiders.
It's the Raiders?
Which team throws the most passes over 30 air yards?
Which team throws the most passes over 30 air yards?
It's the Denver Broncos. Here's another little nugget for you for DFS.
Okay.
Last week, Jerry Jeudy led the league in air yards and air attempts over 25 yards, right? They moved Jeudy from the slot to the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, they are throwing him the ball. He is going down the field. He's making some plays. I think he's maturing. And on top of that, Denver has other weapons. Tim Patrick, I'm telling you, is an NFL player. He is an NFL player.
I like that.
The problem with the Broncos, he's good, man. I'm telling you, he's good. They get him back. And then what's his name, Courtney Sutton back. They have receivers everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So that's going to be the first 3 o'clock game, Broncos-Raiders. And then Broncos-Raiders is always fun just because of the rivalry there between those two teams. Chargers-Dolphins. Where's Emo at? Shout out Emo.
Emo's probably building a fire pit.
Yeah. Looks like the Dolphins are a 1.5 favorite, which isn't a whole lot. You got the 2 rookies going at it, and Herbert and Tua. Chargers find a way to lose again.
I'm taking the Chargers.
Taking the Chargers? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miami has a good defense. But Miami, they're really beat up right now. I mean, like Myles Gaskin was proven he's an NFL player. He's out.
Yeah.
Preston Williams, I'm not going to sit here and say he's awesome, but he was their other starting receiver. He's out. So now to me, I'm not scared of Gesicki. They're going to focus on Devontae Parker. It's going to make it hard for Tua to go to those secondary and third and tertiary reads. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Chargers, one thing the Chargers can do is put up points. Herbert is for real. He is for real. Keenan Allen. Okay, I'm not going to say he's Devontae Adams or something like that, but oh my gosh, is he an amazing NFL receiver?
Is he? Real quick, BJ, is Keenan Allen the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL?
Hands down.
Right? I mean, like nobody talks about him.
Hands down. He is an amazing player.
Is it because he plays on the West Coast, or is it because the Chargers are terrible? I mean, what is it that Keenan Allen, nobody talks about him?
I think those are both factors, and I also think it's because he doesn't have like the splash plays like Julio Jones or Devontae Adams makes. Yeah. He's almost like a bigger, stronger, faster Julian Edelman in some ways. You know what I mean? Where he gets his meat and potatoes from going across the middle, those difficult catches that are contested, that are eliciting contact. Mm-hmm. But he just does it every single game. And he's been doing it year after year after year. And he's been doing it with substandard quarterback play with Phillip Rivers for the last 4 or 5 years, who's done in the NFL. I just don't think he's good enough. He's old. But now he has a good quarterback, and look at what he's doing. But he's a rookie quarterback who, as good as he is, your first year in the NFL, that playbook is massively condensed to what it is year 3, year 4. So they're playing with a limited playbook, and Allen's still going out there and doing it when teams are keying off on him as the number one guy every week, and he's seeing top coverage, help over the top, shade from a linebacker, dropping back into the middle to break it up. He's just a great player, man. I love watching him play.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shout out Keenan Allen. And I don't know, we should I wish Emo was on here and we need to make a bet with Emo about this game.
Emo won't bet about this game. He'll say he will, but
just like his trades, like he'll say he'll trade you, but he won't do it. Actually do it.
Yeah, or he'll verbally agree to a trade, and then you send it to him, and he sends it back with some kind of bad note, and it's like, wait a minute, we just talked about this.
Yeah.
We just talked about it.
Lots of 3 o'clock games tomorrow. Another one, Bills and Cardinals. Bills sitting at 7-2. Cardinals at 5-3. Really good game, and the Cardinals are at home with a 2.5 point favorite. Is that surprising, BJ?
It is surprising to me.
Yeah.
And the Vegas guys know more than me. And there are some numbers. I guess I don't want to bore everyone too much who's watching about why it is a good matchup for the Cardinals with the way, basically how they run their offense and how the Bills defense gives up a lot of, yards to those kind of plays.
Yeah.
But the Bills have multiple X factors on both sides of the ball. Josh Allen, X factor. Stephon Diggs, X factor. Travion White, X factor. And I just think that these guys can make the plays to win. And Josh Allen is showing everyone who is an NFL fan that he can win games by himself.
Yeah.
And I will raise up my hand and say I have been wrong about Josh Allen for the past couple of years. He has changed my mind. He is a Super Bowl winning caliber quarterback because he's showing that he can win games by himself. You know, and he only has I think he only has 2 or 3 years left in this window because how he runs. You just can't keep taking hits like this and run forever. But they have this window here where they can do it.
Yeah. So you have two quarterbacks here that are going to run the ball. Kyler, of course, the more, I guess, agile of the two. But Josh Allen, he definitely will stick his nose down there and get dirty. Shout out to Emo. He just got on the watch party.
Emo.
We got a bet. BJ's taking the Chargers, so you guys got to figure that out. Figure that out on the watch party.
I'll tell you what, I will bet you, let's say 2 beverages and an appetizer from Revelry.
All right, 2 beverages and an appetizer. We just got some sweet hoodies in. I got one because I work there, but we got some pretty sweet hoodies, new Revelry hoodies. Check them out.
Oh, right on.
All right.
I feel like I should get one for free since the one owner of that establishment, let's just say I have helped out a little bit, once with the flat tire, once with moving some couches, and the other co-owner, co-investor of that establishment, I played college sports with, so I feel like I should get a hoodie.
Oh yeah, I told him, he said what's up. He had his Raglan, right? We had his birthday party there a couple weeks ago. They were out there, him and the crew. So Buffalo, Arizona, BJ. If you're putting money on this, you taking Buffalo to cover that 2.5?
I'm taking Buffalo. Yeah, I am.
All right.
Yeah. That's actually one of my parlays too.
Okay. Seahawks and Rams, also 325 game. Rams are a 2-point favorite in this one, and I mean, I guess this is another one where I'm baffled and that Vegas knows more than me.
Yeah, I'm baffled too. Now, I do agree. I think the Rams are going to put up points. I think Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp both have good days, just because the Seahawks. I mean, I don't know, Lake Travis at this point might have a better secondary than the Seahawks do. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they invent ways to allow people to score. But if you're talking about this is going to be a game where high score wins, well, Seattle is going to be the high score. You know, I mean, this game has 38-30. And I'm sorry, I'm going to take on who can score more points between these two teams. I'm taking the Seahawks, man. I mean, Wilson is going to cook, you know?
Yeah. And then, over-under is 54.5. So,
really?
That's
pretty... man, I didn't see that. I like that, dude.
Yeah.
I will take the over.
Yeah. 49ers, Saints. Saints are a 9.5-point favorite. I know you, BJ, stay away from the double-digit lines. This one's 9.5. Would you get into this one, or you just think it's too much?
I was looking at it this morning, and I was looking at it this morning when it was 9, and then I saw it move to 9.5, and I kind of regretted I didn't take it at 9, even though maybe 9.5 doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the push.
I would feel sure for the push, yeah. But no, I felt confident. I think the Saints can win by 10. I think the Saints are rolling now. Michael Thomas is back. That doesn't mean Michael Thomas blows up, but what it means is teams now have to devote that primary coverage over there, which just opens everything else up for the offense. And we saw that last week. Michael Thomas makes this offense go. He is the best thing that can happen for guys like Kamara. Maybe Kamara doesn't put up the yards that he did without Michael Thomas, but it's better for the team because Michael Thomas is there. And, I think the Saints are going to grind in, put their head down, and start making their Super Bowl push. I really do. Yeah.
Saints, and everybody was doubting Drew Brees, and you know what? Maybe his arm isn't what it used to be, and maybe he can only make throws, down the field a certain yardage. But when you got the offensive weapons, I mean, from Kamara to Cook, I mean, everybody forgets about Jared Cook. I mean,
here's the thing too. People
have
always talked. Yeah, people have always talked about Drew Brees' arm. When has Drew Brees ever had the best arm?
I mean, never. Maybe
never.
Maybe at Westlake.
That's never been his game. Well, even at Westlake, and we competed against him in high school, or you did, and we also played against him even in middle school. I mean, he was never a guy that. He's never been a quarterback that just throws it downfield all the time. Yeah. Like he had his time with Jimmy Graham and Colston. Those were not Kurt Warner bullets. Those were Jimmy Graham is 5 inches taller than the quarterback. Let me lob it up there. Mm-hmm. He is a mental quarterback who can break down defenses and make the right play 19 out of 20 times. Now that he has his weapons there, I think it's totally fine, and that's what's going on. And again, it comes back to what the NFL is going to. It's a passing league. It is 1, 2, 3, ball out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ball out. Breeze can do that all day long, and they have 2 running backs that they can just hand it to and can catch. Yeah, Saints by 10 for sure. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go hit click right now.
All right, Bengals, Steelers. Steelers at home, coming off of that grinded out win against the Cowboys last week. ESPN showing them a 7.5 point favorite. I've seen them at 7 as well. I think the Bengals are getting a little bit too much respect, and the Steelers are getting a little bit disrespected here for the performance that they had against the Cowboys last week. I mean, the Steelers are still undefeated. They still have an amazing defense. You got Roethlisberger that's probably going to play. I know he was on the COVID list for most of the week, but I mean, I feel like the Bengals are getting a little bit more respect than they deserve with this 7.5 point line. I mean, I know it's still a lot. It's still a touchdown and a field goal. I mean, it's still a lot of points, especially NFL. I mean, we've talked about it. BJ, you've gone about it. It's still a lot of points.
The Bengals
are the Bengals.
I take 2 sides. I take 2 sides on this game. I think the Steelers win.
Yeah.
However, right now, Bengals are like plus 340.
Yeah.
If this is a rivalry game, these teams know each other. Steelers are showing it's hard. Man, it's hard to win 8-9 games in the NFL. The Steelers almost had their hiccup game last week against a depleted Dallas Cowboys team. The Bengals can put up points. Tyler Boyd is a real NFL player. Dude, forget that. The entire Bengals receiving corps, where do they find these guys? T. Higgins. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, they have a bunch of guys that can play. Giovanni Bernard is going to catch 5 passes. Maybe the Bengals pull it out. I would say I think the Steelers are going to win from a betting perspective. Plus 340 on this game. Man, it'd be hard not to even just maybe throw a dime on that and roll the dice and see if you get a happy afternoon,
Yeah, Emo likes the Bengals. He's picking the Bengals to win this game. So shout out to Emo.
Oh, he is? Okay, yeah. Well, Steelers all the way. I'm taking my money off.
All right, then the Sunday night game, Ravens and Patriots. Ravens 7-point favorite on the road. I mean, come on, man.
Ravens destroy the Patriots.
You think so?
This is my lock of the week, man.
Yeah?
Lock of the week. Yeah, lock of the week. The New England has, I think it's what it is I'm looking at right now, the 3rd worst run defense in the NFL. And when you look at a lot of the teams that they've played, they haven't even played some of the best running teams in the NFL. Who runs the ball the best? Well, it's the Ravens, because they basically have 4 running backs, because their quarterback is also a running back. And I think they're just going to run up and down. I think Belichick is going to go look in the mirror and be like, hey, maybe I'll take that San Diego job next year. Maybe I will.
Maybe you will, yeah.
Because those are the rumors.
And Emo says he's waiting for Dez to come out to play.
I think Dez is going to play. They didn't sign Dez to keep him on the practice squad.
Right. I mean,
but he's not. Where is Dez going to play? He's going to be a guy that when they get in the red zone, they put that big receiver outside and then they throw him some lobs, I think. Or, 3rd and 4, you need that bigger guy on the quick out for the thing. I think he gets some reps, and I think he gets some catches eventually. But to be like a star or anywhere near where he was, I mean, you're kind of fooling yourself.
Yeah. And
there's a reason NFL teams didn't sign him for the past couple of years,
That's true. Monday night, wrapping up the week 10, it's going to be Minnesota and Chicago. Minnesota, a 3-point favorite on the road. I know you talked about Nick Foles earlier with me, BJ, but go ahead and give our listeners a little bit of what you were talking about.
Yeah, I think Nick Foles is a great, cheap option for DFS because the Bears have a great defense, but they cannot run the ball. I don't care who their running back is. They can't run the ball. Their offensive line is terrible. So what they do is they throw it. Minnesota, I think, jumps out to a big lead because they're going to feed Cook, and Cook's going to do what he does and make some stupid, ridiculous 60-yard touchdown runs. Mm-hmm. And Chicago is going to have to throw. I think Minnesota wins, maybe handedly, but I wouldn't be surprised if the score is closer than not because the Bears are going to be chasing points. Robinson is my number 1 wide receiver play of the week for DFS if you go the full slate to the Sunday, Monday. And I think it's going to be a good game for Nick Foles. he's throwing 40 passes a game. You know, he goes out there and throws 40 passes. He's going to have close to 300 yards. Robinson gets his. Jimmy Graham is quietly a pretty good tight end, and I think he gets a couple of touchdowns, man. I think he's a great DFS play. And I think he's a great fantasy play if you've got a guy, you know, if you have Mahomes or somebody on a bye. Roll with Nick Foles. You know, he's going to be throwing because the Bears are going to lose.
That's true. All right. Let's see. Emo says Vikings win, and Dez jerseys will make a lot of money. All right. Well, fair enough.
Okay. Now, nobody in Baltimore is buying a Dez jersey. All right. I'm telling you, people in Baltimore, they buy Lamar Jackson jerseys, and the second selling jersey in Baltimore is probably still Ray Lewis. Okay.
Probably. All right.
Who has done a lot of great things for that community, by the way. I always want to say that when I read articles about players. He does a lot of things for that community, investing in homeless shelters and food pantries and things like that through the COVID. So shout out to him.
All right. Shout out to Ray Lewis. All right. That'll wrap up week 10. Before I get out of here, BJ, I want to mention Bud Crawford. Terrence Crawford is going to be fighting tonight against Kell Brook. Going to be a great fight. I mean, I can't wait.
I'm excited.
Yeah, and I think it's just going to be on ESPN. Thankfully, it's not on a pay-per-view. Because everybody needs to watch Terrence Crawford box. Everybody needs to see him fight. Because if he is able to get rid of Kell Brook, which I think he would, hopefully in knockout fashion. You know, they're talking about a super fight against Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao, and that's going to be huge for Bud Crawford, who's pound for pound, you know, probably the best boxer in the world right now. Just, you know, minus like Teofimo Lopez, maybe.
Yeah. No, I like Crawford. He does a lot of interesting things, and what I like about him so much is that he can change his fight style to like kind of frustrate his opponent.
Oh yeah.
And have you ever noticed that he does that James Toney thing where he'll kind of put his shoulder like in front of his face and slide off a few to like, you know, land the counter punches and stuff? It's really unique.
Yeah, lights out, man. Lights out James Toney.
Yeah, for real. Now, Brooks, though, you know, I think Crawford's going to win, and I think that's almost like the obvious pick-em choice. But Brooks is no chump.
Right, that's true.
And this is a guy that has proven that he can be in the ring he can step in the ring with anybody. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. So let's see what happens, you know. And Brooks also does have power to change a fight.
Oh yeah.
So I do think Crawford wins. I don't think there's anyone who follows boxing who is really truly picking Brooks in the upset. However, Brooks does have the talent and the power to where I don't think anyone would be shocked if he won. They would just be kind of more surprised, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, this is business for Bud Crawford tonight. You know, he's got to win this fight if he's going to, you know, make that huge paycheck. I mean, I believe that's, you know, why they have this one, you know, on ESPN, because they want to get as many odds right now. Yeah, they want to get as many eyes on Bud Crawford as possible, you know, to try to sell that next fight. You know, he needs to win this. I believe he's going to win this, but he needs to win this in spectacular fashion. You know, and he's going to try to go out there and knock out
minus 475.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like the other thing, kind of going against Bud, is this is his only fight in 2020. You know, of course, we're going through a global pandemic. He hasn't fought since I think it was November or December last year in 2019. So it's been a while. He might have some ring rust. It might take him, you know, a few rounds to get into the groove. But I fully expect him to take care of Kell Brook, and then hopefully, I don't know, say, you know, March, April, you know, maybe even in May, you know, the around Cinco de Mayo, you have the Crawford versus Pacquiao or Crawford versus Spence. I would prefer to see him against Spence. Yeah, exactly. I would prefer Spence. I know Manny's still Manny. Manny is still, you know, a great fighter, you know, but he's older now, you know. I mean, he's just. Well,
he is. And that's the thing. Like, we know that when we know that, I would assume that we think that if it was the Pacquiao fight, it would be a competitive fight that would go into the late rounds in the least, and Pacquiao would look good, but truly never have a real opportunity to win. It's just, and that's what it is, because of his age and where, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I want to see a real fight with two people who you're like, well, that guy can knock him out. Oh, well, that guy can knock him out. Well, oh my gosh, this guy won the first 3 rounds, and now he looks like he's falling apart. Like, I want to see that back and forth competitive fight, because our last really big fight, I was massively disappointed. I'm not even going to say his name. I'm just going to call him the runner, because he ran away for 7 rounds. I'm never going to invest in him again. Lost me $10, but anyway.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, Crawford needs to win this one. I know the easier sell or the bigger sell would be Crawford versus Pacquiao, just because the average fan would,
Sure.
see Pacquiao and be like, oh, okay, cool. The Spence fight would be more exciting and better for the boxing fans like you and me, BJ. We would probably want to see that more. But if you ask the average sports fan, they probably don't even know who Crawford or Errol Spence are. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Easier sell for Pacquiao.
Man, you want a super fight? How about Conor McGregor and Manny Pacquiao over in Indonesia, but like Kumite style with like the wraps and stuff? I mean, if you want to make money, let's do it for real. Yeah, why are we going half-ass on it?
With the wraps and the glue and the glass.
And part of the ring is inverted, like in a little tilt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And somebody gets blinding powder thrown in their eyes.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
See, and Emo also says, "Oh yeah, Brian Vera is fighting tonight as well. So good luck to Brian."
He is.
Yeah. And then Tyson Tyson's fighting in 2 weeks. Brian, I'm not sure where I think he's fighting in New Hampshire somewhere.
But is it on TV? Is there any way on TV or anything like that?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, because hey, Brian Vera has had a great career, man.
Yeah,
great career, and I'm glad he's still doing what he loves and fighting and things like that.
He's still in great shape.
Hometown kid.
Yeah, he gave up. He gave up on the alcohol. I think it was maybe a couple years now. He's been clean and sober, and so he's been saying that he's in the best shape of his life, and good luck to him.
Man, that's great.
And
I gave up on alcohol too.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Like I haven't drank since Monday night.
Oh, there you go. Good job.
Yeah, I'm making progress.
There you go. Let's see. Other boxing news. Canelo Alvarez is going to fight Caleb Smith in December. Kind of a ho-hum fight for Canelo, in my opinion. Whatever. And then Ryan Garcia was supposed to fight Luke Campbell, but Luke Campbell had a positive COVID test. That fight was supposed to be December 5th. But from what they're saying, it's going to be just a short postponement of that. So maybe a couple of weeks. So maybe we'll see it around the 19th.
I had read they might even try to get it. Well, I had read somewhere that they might try to make it like a Christmas Eve thing, which is kind of unique.
That'd be kind of cool.
Whatever, a holiday fight. Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, I'll put the kids to bed and, watch a pretty good fight. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then see, and Ryan Garcia, of course, a favorite of Zach Lucetto and a lot of other people. So
Zach likes short people.
Yeah. Emo says Garcia, that kid is good. He is good, but I think this is going to be his first real test against Luke Campbell. So we'll see if Campbell can take him into deep waters and see how Ryan Garcia, reacts to that. Because he's impressive. I like Ryan Garcia, good kid. He's got it all. He's the De La Hoya 2.0s. He's got the looks
flash, right?
and the flash, and he's got the personality. He's got all the star power.
Sure, and he has knockout power too, which is what people want to see. They want to see people who can punch hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, shout out Steven Angano, boxing. You don't watch boxing, Steven? Man, come on, bro. Also, Masters is going on right now. Before we get out of here, just want to make sure. Let me do a little. I had it on, then let's see what the leaderboard is right now. I know it's kind of weird.
Yesterday, it was kind of bottled up there at the top, but at the Masters, when you see these guys that are down by 4 or 5 strokes, gosh, on that course the way it's playing this year, that's an eternity, man. 4 or 5 strokes is just so large on this course.
Yeah, so it looks like John Rahm and Patrick Reed still at 9 under. They've teed off for their third round. Abraham Answer, let's see, Smith, Justin Thomas, 9 under. Dustin Johnson at 9 under as well. Let's see, Answer, Smith, and Thomas haven't teed off yet, or it doesn't look like they have, or at least on here it is. But Dustin Johnson at 9 under. And
Tiger and Rory have competitive scores, don't they? That's what a lot of people watch for.
I think Tiger's at 5 under.
Yeah,
he's 4 strokes off the lead.
Which is an eternity. But.
So here's the thing, with they had the rain. You know, the reason why we're doing the whole round 2, round 3, you know, people doing is because of that rain. Short. Yeah, the rain happened on Thursday, so it's with the losing the hour, so it's getting dark early, as we all know. So you started late on Thursday, had the rain. The rain softened up the course, and that was what was it, the Tropical Storm Ada that went through there. So it softened up the course. You know, the greens, you could just pepper those greens. If you were hitting the green, it wasn't going anywhere. You know, it was sticking where it was, unless you hit one of those false fronts or, some kind of ridge. It was easy to get on the green. So you're seeing a lot of those low scores Thursday and Friday. I think with the sunshine that they've had, you're going to start seeing those greens firm up a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit harder to keep that ball on the green. And, I think, I know we saw some low scores, Thursday, Friday, but I think it's going to be the course is going to get a little bit tougher, as we go Saturday and Sunday, as that course dries out and those greens become, just quicker and quicker.
Sure. There's a great highlight. You can Google it. It was on ESPN too. So Tiger was having, kind of up and down yesterday, a little rough, bogey here, birdie there kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it started getting darker, started sprinkling. He takes a break. He starts playing like really slow. And then, like, I forget what it was, like 10th hole or something like that. It's getting dark, and he's, like, looking over at the officials, and they're, like, looking at their watch and getting on their phones, and they walk over, and they're like, okay, you can continue to play on right now, or you can choose based on the conditions to stop and go tomorrow. And he's like, oh, I'm stopping, let's go. So he knew. He's like, today I don't got it. Let me slow down a little bit and see if I can put it back together tomorrow. So really interesting,
Yeah, he definitely, took advantage of that, and that's a professional. That's what you do. So
business decision.
Yeah. So he's 4 strokes off the lead, but it's this course. I don't expect. I saw some predictions where the winner would be 15 or 17 under, and if the course if it's still playing the same way as it was Thursday and Friday, then I would say 15 to 17 under.
Hey Chris, let's make a pact.
Okay.
Let's make a pact right now. All right. Me and you go to the Masters. COVID 2023. Okay. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, when they get the patrons back, we'll go. All right. Do you like Dustin Johnson or John Rahm? Or do you think Tiger Woods, Justin Thomas? Who do you like out of this, BJ? Before we get out of here,
I'll throw a dart, and why not John Rahm? Why not?
Yeah, it was his birthday earlier this week.
Let's throw a hey, and there. I was about to say that too. We were on the birthday thing earlier. Tiger, I think he still got it. I think he probably does have a major in him sooner or later, right? Mm-hmm. But I did watch it yesterday. He just wasn't hitting the ball well. Rahm is hitting the ball well. Rahm is, I think he's like second lowest in the tournament right now in putts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good. You need that to win. So I'll ride with that. I'll pick him.
All right. And I'm going to go with DJ Dustin Johnson, trying to get his green jacket. He's just, he's my favorite golfer because that dude he almost looks like he doesn't care like what happens. He's just very stoic out there. You can't tell if he just eagled or if he just double bogeyed because he's always just so like just even keel, man. I like, I like that in a golfer, because you got so much going on out there, like it's just tough, so
he is very emo keeled.
Emo keeled. So I'm going to be pulling for DJ, although I like JT as well, Justin Thomas, and Patrick Reed up there. And he was, champion 2 years ago in 2018. So, this is going to be a lot of fun. You got, Matsuyama, you got Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Rose is 8. There are so many great names up there. Brooks Koepka's only two strokes back now at 7 under. So it's going to be a fun Masters. So make sure you go check that out. Because there's not a whole lot of college football on today. BJ,
no, I'm watching the TCU West Virginia right now. But
okay. You got any shout outs, BJ?
Well, just to everyone who takes time to listen, and thank you very much. And also, my wife is amazing. by the way.
Yeah.
So when she gets mad at me for being on the phone this whole time, I want to make sure she hears this because I think she's listening right now. You know? Yeah. And just everyone be safe with this Thanksgiving and what's going on in the world right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, be safe, take care of yourself.
All right, BJ. Appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, buddy.
All right. Later, bro.
Bye.
All right. I'm going to give a shout out to God, to my parents. Shout out to Zach, Snoop, Paul, and of course, all of our listeners out there. We really appreciate you joining us every Wednesday and Saturday. Come back on Wednesday night, 8 o'clock for Recon Athlete, episode number 126. We'll see you there. We gone.